We walked down this way and then we're across the ridge, quite nice on the way back.
Sometimes we act like a fool, not aware we're troublemakers. Sometimes we try to be cool, not being givers, only takers.
Deep gorges, waterfalls, towering trees and a ruined castle make Dollar Glen the perfect place to escape to on a day off from work. We had planned to go up a Munro, but we were all feeling a bit tired, which subsequently turned out to be COVID. This beautiful stretch of woodland lies east of Stirling in the shadow of the Ochil Hills. I'll show you some of the route, including Castle Campbell, the 15th century stronghold of the Earl of Argyll, which stands dramatically at the top of the glen. Due to storm damage, some of the glen is not accessible as the bridges are closed. We thought we'd give it a go, and you'll see later in the video why that wasn't the best plan we've ever had. There is a car park at the bottom, middle and top of the glen. There's not much space at the top, but on a midweek there was plenty of space in the middle car park. The paths are quite steep and you'll need to watch your feet as they can be uneven. If you're here on a wet or icy day, watch out as it can be very slippy.
Not being givers, only takers. Stop for a minute, stop and breathe for a minute. Don't get over your head, try to listen instead, won't you? Think for a minute, who you wanna be for a minute. Don't get over your head, you're like everyone else, aren't you? You could gain.
The small river running through Dollar Glen comes from two burns with interesting names, the Burn of Care and the Burn of Sorrow. I tried to find out where the names came from, but there was a lot of different explanations. I'll assume no one really knows. Castle Campbell has an alternative name. On old maps it is known as Castle Gloom. Legend has it that one of the Campbell's garden nut tore out an English officer's throat with his teeth and pronounced it the tastiest titbit he'd ever eaten. If it was in the morning, does that count as a full English breakfast? At this point we decided to liven up the walk by checking out a waterfall off the normal path. I wouldn't recommend this route if you're unsteady in your feet. It was wet, slippy, and if anyone had fallen in, they would probably have been injured. It was good fun though. The only disappointment was the waterfall at the end of the route was very small. It was easier to get down than it was to come up, which is mostly due to spotting a better route. We went up the right side, but it was the left side that was much easier. Why are we doing this? That's a good question. I think my answer to that is no one's ever really had an adventure if they follow the path.
Look impressed. Out of 10.
It's the waterfall.
Yeah.
I don't do ratings for waterfalls. There's no beer.
We made it down safely and decided to head up onto the hill behind Castle Campbell so that we could get a view of Dollar. Dollar has a population of approximately 2,800 people. The town is the home to the private school Dollar Academy. My friend went to it, but the only thing the place taught him was a deep dislike of rugby, a sport everyone else in the school loved, but he didn't. I think one of Scotland's Grand Slam wins in the 1980s had a team that was mostly made up of ex-pupils from the academy. Nowadays, due to the very lax rules about eligibility, any Tom, Dick or Harry can play for Scotland as long as they've lived here for a few years. Which is why I don't watch rugby. National sport should be for national players, not people who aren't good enough to play for their own nation. That's my rant over. We decided to head back via the other side of the Glen. We took a quick detour off the path just to see if it went anywhere interesting. We'd been walking for 2 hours by this point, but we'd only done 3 kilometres, which is impressively slow. This path leads back to Castle Campbell. It's now owned by Historic Scotland and is open from April until September, but it does charge a small fee to go in. We're all cheapskates, so we didn't pay, we just looked at the outside. The structure of the castle dates back to the 1400s. It's one of the few castles in Scotland with a loggia. I might have pronounced that wrong. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. I didn't know either until I googled interesting facts about Castle Campbell. A loggia is an outdoor corridor or gallery with a fully covered roof and an outer wall that is open to the elements. You learn something new every day. At this point there was a sign saying the path down the Glen was closed due to a dangerous bridge. We ignored the sign and decided to chance it. The path led down to a small waterfall, although some people were more interested in checking their phone. We soon discovered why the path was closed. The bridge was in a perilous state. It reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I wouldn't recommend going this way, but it was good fun trying to get down safely. This was the only tricky bit on the way down. After this, there was a normal path which led to a viewing platform into the gorge. I spotted a red squirrel, but he disappeared before I could get a good video of it. It took 3 hours to do the walk. I'd recommend it if you're looking for a morning or afternoon out. It's quite steep in places, but it's a nice challenging short walk. Afterwards we headed into Dollar to find some food. Everywhere was closed except for a Caribbean takeaway, which is not something I expected to find in such a small town. The jerk chicken was excellent and the woman running the place was very friendly. Check it out if you're ever in the area. I know the food doesn't look good, but it did taste great, especially the mac and cheese.